Hey everybody, this is Don Walters and Dan Safara coming to you from the Clinical Trials Guru. I want to talk about an interesting subject today, and this is about mergers. And I know some people think in research that's a strange word to hear, is mergers, but it's something that we all need to be aware of. Some information that Dan and I picked up recently in doing our little data gathering is that if you notice that there's been a lot of mergers of CROs, and that's sort of transcending down to the business below that, like the investigational sites and so forth. You want to take it on that one?
Yeah, so what happened, the evolution of this, and we've, in our data collection, or pretty much are interacting with people in the know, in the industry, trust me, they know much more than I do. We talked to them just last week, and they said what happened was pharma companies started trying to cut costs for clinical trials, because it makes sense. We're in a recession, their patents are expiring from their drugs, they need to save some money. So what they did is they're encouraging the CROs to cut costs. Now, the CROs, in order to survive, they consolidated, or they merged, like Don would say. So some of the bigger CROs gobbled up some of the smaller ones. So like a recent example is INC merged with Kendall. And so now they're just one big CRO. Now we're going to see a lot more of this. There's going to be very few small CROs around. There's just going to be a handful of large ones. And these are done out of necessity because the pharma companies, again, are cutting costs. But now what we're seeing is because the CROs consolidated, they're trying to drive the sites, the research clinics, to cut costs. They're pushing prices down for the clinical trial budgets. So what we would normally see at South Coast Clinical Trials, we're seeing a lot smaller budgets now. And that's happening industry-wide. So what's happening with the sites, and if you work at a site, you might realize this, there's a lot of consolidation, either formal mergers and acquisitions, one big site buying several small ones and becoming a gigantic company, or informal alliances, like, hey, I'll partner with you, I'll supply you your studies, you can still keep your brand name, but we're still part of one group, it'll just be informal. No matter how you look at it, there's consolidation going on, and it's to cut costs. We don't know if it's a good or bad thing, it's reality. And so that's kind of what we learned, so much more on this topic in the future. But just something to definitely keep an eye on. It's a trend that's occurring.
It's growth. It's what it is. It's growth. It's evolution. Just always keep in mind things are always changing. Industry, whether people want to face it or not, is driven by economics. Because we all have to pay our mortgage, we have to buy food, and so there's always going to be those changes. Companies trying to become more efficient in what they do, become more budget-minded and not spend as much money. And it's going to have an effect on how things are designed and how things are produced. So that's what's happening.
And ideally, which is still up for debate, it'd be nice if these costs are transferred to the patients, and the patients end up paying less for their drugs, although we highly doubt it. But that's the ideal situation. But nonetheless, consolidation is happening, and do not fear it, embrace it.
This is Don and Dan signing off from theclinicaltrialsguru.com.
Thanks a lot.